Hey guys, Henry here, and today we're going to be talking about the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was written and directed by Quentin Tarantino and stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt as the central characters. DiCaprio plays the actor Rick Dalton, long gone from his glory days of playing the lead in Western TV series and now gradually slipping into obsolescence, only able to book roles where he ends up being bested by the new up-and-coming actors in Hollywood. Meanwhile, Brad Pitt plays Rick Dalton's best friend slash former stuntman slash driver, Cliff Booth. Their friendship is constant in their reality in which things seem to be slipping out of their control, they're slowly becoming irrelevant. And to me, this was the best part of the film. DiCaprio played Rick Dalton perfectly. His delivery and the seriousness and how straight up he played Dalton's devastation and fear of becoming irrelevant worked so well in contrast with Brad Pitt's laid back and wholly appreciative character. They balance each other so well. DiCaprio had some great moments, but Brad Pitt really stole the show. He had some of the best lines and some of the best scenes. Their relationship seems odd at the beginning, but as the film goes on, you begin to understand why they need each other. What I think this movie did really well was that it felt like a collection of moments. Just dudes chilling out, watching TV, chatting shit, with scenes that were really well written and acted. And they didn't necessarily have to add up to anything. But on the flip side of that, the film didn't really have a solid narrative. There wasn't anything really propelling the story forward. It just felt like we were floating around through Hollywood during this period, cruising around with these characters. While yes, I did really like the characters, but I did feel like I needed a little bit more. The second act definitely dragged a bit, and there was this whole exposition dump halfway through, after there was a time jump. While Tarantino has done this before, and yeah, I know, he doesn't play by the rules, but it's still an exposition dump, and I've got to say it's a bit lazy. Something I did question after watching the film was, why do we need to see so much of Sharon Tate? So Margot Robbie plays Sharon Tate, and she had very little to do. She did a great job of charming us, but she had very little else to work with. We just follow her and see her do a bunch of stuff. Nothing really leads to anything, so she doesn't really feel important to the film. Did she even need to have all those scenes? It felt like she was shown so much because of the factor of the Manson murders, and I don't quite know how I feel about that. Is it gimmicky? Is it meant to be tasteful? It just felt a bit off to me. On the topic of the Manson murders, this movie seems to rely on the fact that you have some prior knowledge of what happened, and it is unapologetic in the way it just glosses over information. So I would recommend you maybe do a bit of pre-reading before you watch this film to fully appreciate what's going on. But at the same time, this movie isn't really about the Manson murders, so why does it feel like it was based around the Manson family cult? It just seemed more like an excuse to include some potential shock value by relating this to something that really happened, and again, it just felt off to me. Could this movie have done without it? Maybe. Probably. I don't think it would be the same movie, but I honestly don't think it was that integral to the movie that it'd fall apart without it. Moving on, I enjoyed the ode to the golden age of cinema, the love letter to classic cinema. I really enjoyed the films within the film, the way that Tarantino showed the films they were making as if they were already edited, but then someone abruptly calls cut and the whole thing is reset and they go through the scene again. Those moments were really great, and getting to see DiCaprio act as an actor trying to get his mojo back was just sensational. But that being said, at the same time, I felt like maybe this love letter that Tarantino was writing was just a bunch of in-jokes about how Hollywood used to be in the good old days. I just don't get it because I'm just some dumb Australian that has no clue what Hollywood was like in the 60s. So I guess a lot of it just went right over my head. Honestly, for me, this isn't one of Tarantino's better films. It had some great lines of dialogue, but some lines definitely felt stale. Of course, the music, the cinematography, it's excellent as always, but this film seemed more focused on comedy than the tension that we are usually accustomed to from Tarantino. And I guess I was just itching for that. I'm not saying that it can't be a comedy, but I just felt like I wanted that classic tension building. There was a scene about halfway through where it felt like it was getting there in terms of the tension, the build up, but then it just sort of fizzles out and blur, it's just done. Overall, this movie was chill. It was fun, but it didn't deliver in the way that I thought it would. Halfway through, I was literally thinking, where the hell is this going? Yes, I love spending time with DiCaprio and Brad Pitt doing their thing, wallowing in self-pity, cracking jokes, but was there a point to all this? I definitely think this movie is worth a watch, but maybe just once. I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not a bad film by any means. It's just always going to be compared to Tarantino's other work, whether that's fair or not. It's like when LeBron James has a down year and he's actually playing better than 95% of the NBA, but people think he's just fallen off and he's shit now, simply because of the fact that they're just comparing him to him. So don't get me wrong, this film is a good film, but it's just not to the standard that I feel we've come accustomed to with Tarantino. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more content from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.